Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time. That's what the leaflets say.
Yeah, this is Easy Artist, and you're listening to Dribbz Talks podcast. Stay locked in.
Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of Dribbz Talks, the podcast where we find some of society's most talented people, bring them into the hot seat to explore their journey and what shaped them to become the person they are today. And with that, I'm pleased to bring you a man who's proved to our council estate youth that having a dream and achieving that dream is never a million miles away. He's broke down barriers in professional boxing and he's taken 99% of Donington with him along the way too. His name's Liam Davies. Welcome to the show, bro.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
How you doing? You right?
Yeah, very well.
Wicked. You ready for tonight?
Yeah.
Let's do
Looking
this,
forward
man.
to it.
Let's do this, man. Let's do this. Right, okay, so I'm aware that you've done tons of interviews, bro, but not so sure on the dedicated podcasts. Have you done any particular podcasts?
Nah, I think I've done 2 that I can remember.
Okay, all right. So I know you're mad busy with training and family life, and firstly, I want to appreciate you for heading down. I really do. Now, this podcast, it won't be a dedicated boxing discussion because I feel it's important for my listeners to learn about the man behind the gloves. So let's get into it, Liam. So, for the benefit of my listeners and for those that may not have known of you, could you give them a brief introduction of who you are and what you're best known for and where you're originally from?
Well, I'll start off with the obvious. My name, obviously Liam Davies, from Donington. Went to Donington Primary School. Nah, wrong. Started off at Muxton Primary.
Not far from each other.
Yeah, moved from Brandsmeadow, Muxton to Jubilee, Donington.
Come on.
And then I went Donington Wood Infants, Donington Wood Juniors, and then on to the Sutherland. So
there you go.
Proper Donington boy.
Proper through and through. I love that. And that's what I can relate to you best with. So tell me then, Liam, let's get into it. What age did you first pick up a pair of gloves?
Yeah, for me it was very young because my granddad run Donington Boxing Gym and my dad was a boxer himself, so I wouldn't say, obviously competition wise you have to wait to 11. I had my first fight the week after my 11th birthday.
No way.
Made sure we had a home show, yeah, which I won, so it was a good start straight away.
Yeah, man, start as you mean to go on, mate. Growing up then, how was your childhood and how did you think that the way you were raised influenced your decision to pursue boxing?
Ooh, that's a good question. Obviously the boxing come from always growing up into it. Like as I just said, my granddad and father was in the gym, so it's a big part of the family tradition really. I enjoyed my football as a young lad though.
Did you?
Just play football, yeah, as for Oakengates Rangers and Rockerdine Wood. So I wasn't obviously as good at football, so I had to give it in at 16, but boxing was always the main aim really. I never knew nothing else. Growing up I was always telling teachers, you know, when you're in naughty in class and they say you need to learn for when you're older, you say not me, I'm going to be a boxer.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So did you always, that kind of answers my next question really, because I was going to ask you, did you always know that you wanted to become a boxer, or did you have any other dreams growing up, bro?
No, not really. Obviously my dad, your father's like your idol, isn't he? I looked up to my dad and he was a professional boxer, and that was always what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Be like my dad really. So boxing was always number one. As I said, I did other sports like football and stuff and I enjoyed it, but boxing was always the main one. And because it was I was in the gym from so young, being my granddad running it, I was quite good at it. So I spent many years in the gym just messing about, but always watching and learning. So boxing was always definitely the dream, but that's not promised to make it. You know, when I grew older, you get to like 17, 18, you know, especially in the middle of Donington, you're up to no good really most of the time, and you don't know any different because everyone's up to the same stuff, and that's where you can get caught up. And a lot of talented kids, footballers, boxers, whatever sport they're doing, around the wrong crowd, growing up young, making dumb decisions, which we all do, but not realising quick enough. And luckily for me, I realised before it was too late.
Yeah, I get you.
And yeah, I'm very fortunate for that, and I wanted it so bad. A few things happened obviously in my life, and the one being that made me really turn my life around, and it breaks my heart because it's selfish of what happened and how like it motivated me. Such a bad thing had to happen for me to grow up, and but lucky that it did, because I could still be. I used to, like say when I turned up, I said I used to do the bins round here.
Yeah.
Now the position that I got myself in now, the things I've done that are written in stone, can never be taken away, is like, you have to be grateful sometimes. And most of the time.
And I love that you are grateful with it. Do you know what I mean? You're not saying, oh, you know, and you deserve this because of the hard work you've put in, but you're still, you know what I mean, you're still thankful for the position that you're in, because there's a lot of people that go to do their 9 till 5 Monday to Friday, and do you know what I mean, they haven't got nothing set in stone.
Yeah, it's funny, innit, because some days I'm training really hard, and you have them moments like everyone does, I suppose, and I wish I just had a 9 to 5 and dieting, can't go out, can't eat what you want, you can't, and you do, but at the end of the day, I'm been very fortunate, and
Absolutely.
Obviously down to hard work and mainly the right people around me to push me. So
yeah, big up to them. Now, from knowing a bit about your story, Liam, already, I'm very much aware that your late granddad Brian Davies was a massive influence that you loved and respected. How old was you when he passed away?
He passed away in 2011, so I was a teenager.
And how do you think that his passing impacted you emotionally and mentally as a young boxer?
Yeah, massively. And I think if you really took a look into my amateur career, you can see after I lost my granddad, I started to lose to kids I beat before, and I was a teenager, like say, council kid, had a bad attitude, and I was mad at the world, and just used to think boxing ain't the same, and I carried that on my shoulders for many years.
It must have been hard, obviously a granddad is, for me, my granddad was like my best mate, do you know what I mean? I feel blessed that I had him as a granddad, but how do you cope with the grief while balancing your training as a child?
Yeah, so I was like 14, 15, and I was trying to keep it together. My dad was keeping me motivated, trying to keep me doing the right thing, because I was a decent little boxer, and winning competitions at that age already proved that. So I always knew in the back of my own head, without being big-headed, that I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like I say, I couldn't shrug off my shoulder. Things weren't the same. I spent a lot of time in the gym. Anytime I was in the gym, it was with my granddad. He was there.
Yeah, man. So it's
he was my
dad's
dad's coach. Yeah, my dad was boxing as well. So he was my dad's coach. He was my coach. That becomes a mentor as well. And
of course.
Spent a lot of time at my nan and granddad's growing up. So we had a special bond. And yeah, for many years, things weren't the same. And I used to blame that for the reasons I would lose and, make excuses, which it's the easy option to do, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Do you think that there was moments that you leaned on boxing as a way to deal with the pain of losing him?
No, I wouldn't say that. Do you know what's funny is, well, not funny but strange to me, is I would say it hurt me more because 2011, so we're into 2025 now, 14 years ago, so I was 14 years old, and it probably hit me more when I was like 16, a few years after, because young, it hurt, but I didn't really notice a difference, straight away. And then I would say 15, the year after starting to lose, I was thinking that was why.
Yeah.
But I just had a bad attitude as a kid, and like I say,
At least you can own that though, bro.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Do you find, or did you find comfort or guidance in any of his values that your granddad taught you, especially in the ring?
He taught me many values, definitely in life more than the ring, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And as I told you about my dad, same as my granddad, I idolised them, and watching them as a kid, like I say, to try and represent them and be half the man they can was always my aim.
Yeah, 100%. Is there a specific memory of your granddad that you drew strength from during tough times in your boxing career?
Yeah.
Go for it.
We used to... he was as well as a boxing coach, he loved boxing that much, he'd be a judge. So as a judge, you go round the country and judge other bouts from other clubs. And when I'd be at my nan and granddad's on a weekend, some nights I'd go with him if it was locally, like Wolverhampton, Birmingham. And you can guarantee he'd be singing all the way. Loved ABBA, REM. And I still have the tunes on my playlist.
Hey.
Love to listen to them now and again. Great memories.
No, I love that. Now, I hope you don't mind me mentioning him there, bro, but I know that you've lost two close loved ones that's really affected you, and I thought that it was important to discuss the impact that had on you, firstly as a youth. The other loved one we will discuss a little later in the podcast, but you lost him as a man, Liam. But taking it back to growing up with the boxing, what sacrifices did you make as a child to pursue this boxing career?
Sacrifices, not too many. Obviously, as a teenager, I just loved the sport. It's a different game it's not as harsh as a game when you're young. It's more just a sport. So I enjoyed it. The only thing was sometimes you have to make weight for championships when you become a teenager, and your school dinners. I used to get free school dinners. Some days I wouldn't be allowed them if I had to make weight on the night. So there were things that obviously showed myself when I look back that I obviously still wanted it, because you can easily not make weight and stuff. Yeah. I was still always give the sport respect to make weight and train still for fights, even though I wasn't training as hard when I got a bit older, say 17 to 20. I was real lazy, but I always make weight and stuff like that. So looking back, it shows that I still respected the sport and wanted it a bit, because I was making that effort.
Definitely, yeah. What do you think was the toughest lesson that you learnt during your early boxing days? I'm talking about the early career here, when things were like the foundations of what you are now. Do you know what I mean? What was the toughest lesson that you learnt there?
Oh, that you have to accept these losses. Still learning that lesson now.
Hey,
it's tough.
I'm sure it is, mate. I'm sure it is. Now, growing up in Donington, like myself, the opportunities to grow and progress, it can be a lot harder to achieve than, the more wealthier areas where everything is given to them. And it's no secret that I rep my area in everything that I do, from the music to these podcasts, and the support Donington has shown me as a music artist has been mind-blowing. But I want to know from you, what does Donington mean to you, Liam?
Donington has a big place in my heart. Love the people of Donington.
Love that.
Love you go to the parade, you see people you've seen growing up on the street, and most people in Donington are good people.
This is what I keep saying to people, like, there's that stigma with council estates, but I'm like, nah, if you really have to delve into it, but there's some of the nicest people in Donington that would walk to the ends of the earth for you. You just have to find them. Do you know what I mean? There's good and bad in every area. But I want to end that stigma of council estates, man, because there's some genuine people in these places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the only place you can knock your neighbours and ask for sugar.
Hey.
I've done that plenty of times, and that's what I'm saying. They're good people. Definitely. Now, to have Donington Boxing Gym that's been in your family for generations and has been the beating heart of the community for all these years, how does it feel to see the gym still current, still in demand, and still going from strength to strength? Yeah, it's great, and probably something I've only realised the last couple of years is how big of an impact the gym can have on people's lives, and it has had on people's lives. It's helped many lives, maybe saved some, and people that are there helping, like say you got my dad, Andy McFarlane, good genuine people, and you walk in there, don't matter what shoes you got on, what clothes you got on, you put your money in, and you'll get the same treatment as I go. If I go there now and I'm talking and messing about, Mackie will give me burpees in front of everyone.
Yeah.
And that's the way it's always been, and I'm glad it's not changed. You know, it's
still got the same values, yeah.
Yes, for
yeah,
sure.
I love that.
And everyone's treated the same, and say it can build. The thing about the boxing gym, not everyone's going to be a boxer, but you can go there and learn how to defend yourself while you have a bit of fun, and you're around other kids your age. If you're a young kid, you can go to the kids class. You're older man and you're not going through something great, or woman, you know, so you can go there to these classes and there's other people, and don't see anyone walk out that place without a smile on their face, you know, once it's done.
So there's loads of benefits to the boxing club. It ain't just to be the next best prospect in boxing. You know, people do it, I suppose, to shed weight. There's all manner of reasons, I would imagine.
Yeah.
All manner of reasons.
Of course.
Mental health, everything.
Everyone has different purposes in life, don't they? And as long as everyone's trying, how can you not respect that?
Nah, exactly, yeah. And I honestly feel genuinely happy for your dad, Tristan, that the gym hasn't become a distant memory like most things in Donington. You know, you think of the Champion Jockey, you think of like the King's Club. Do you know what I mean? If anything, the gym has now claimed, well, it now can claim world champion holder status, and is continuing to inspire many others to pick up the gloves and aim for the stars. Now, I spoke previously of role models in your life, and I'm damn sure your dad is listed, you know, close to the top there. What does having your dad walk with you on this journey mean to you?
Yeah, obviously it's something we look back on and probably both smile about, but it's the job. The job's still on at the minute, you know what I mean? Me and my dad have a relationship where we're good friends, but it's a family relationship when we go out for food and that, and when we're in the gym it's straight gym, and we spend a lot of time together, which is obviously I'll probably get on his nerves sometimes, and he probably does mine, but it's one of them things that I'm very grateful for, and definitely wouldn't want to do it with anyone else, you know what I mean?
This is what I'm interested in.
It'd be ideal if it was my granddad and my dad.
Of course, yeah, of course. Next best thing in it is your dad, isn't it? Of course. Now, this is what I'm kind of interested to know, like, how do you balance the father and son relationship with like the coach and athlete dynamic? Do you know what I mean?
We're quite on the same level, me and my dad, to be fair. He wants the best for me, and sometimes, like I say, coach wise or dad wise, I just respect him as a man, so he's got something to say, I take it on board, and we listen to each other. It's not just a one-way system. We work together. It's team, innit?
Yeah, so definitely. Now, each coach obviously is different, but how do you think that your dad motivates you differently compared to other coaches that you've had? I moved gym once when I was 18 or 19. Okay, that's the only one.
Yeah, and that was just because I was getting up to no good round Donington. Not up to no good, I was never in trouble enough. I just mean getting up to like staying in on my Xbox, not going out, you know what I mean? Going out, seeing my mates, not going to the gym. Then you were 18, you start going out, having a few beers, and got to a point where like, I gotta change this. So I had another period of time of where I wanted it, and I went for it. So I made a decision, went to Northampton, stayed up there for a bit, used to travel up there. My dad used to pay for my petrol because I had no money. So he always showed me massive support. That's the only time I'd done it, and that was with Arthur Daly, my granddad's good friend.
Okay.
And I wanted to get away from my dad enough, and that was because I just needed a change. I needed something different and to motivate me.
Yeah. Was there moments when you disagreed with like your dad's coaching style or decisions, and how did you handle them moments?
Oh, nah, not really. We just, all it is, we just get on with it, and we're both learning. Never both been to this level ourselves, so I don't think we've made many mistakes, to be honest. We've always done our best, always give 100%, and not every result's going to end good way, but I can take that on the chin. It's to the position I'm in now to where I was. Do you know what I mean? I was begging to be in this position, so how can I start crying now? Do you know what I mean? I've come a long way, and I just got to be grateful and know that I got here so I can do it all again, and 100%. That's what I'm looking to do in this new weight class.
100%. With the name Liam Davies becoming quite an advocate for the local community now, I'm interested to know from you, how do you give back to your community? Because I know, like, I've seen a few articles where you've donated, is it gifts to like the Princess Royal, things like that. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the hospital a few times, donated my kit. We probably raised over £10,000 for the hospital, yeah. And then I didn't, sorry. I'd done the hospital once, and then the next year I didn't do the hospital. I'd done, because when I was younger, me and my mum actually, my mum used to go, had some trouble, and when we had to move to Warsaw, she went with my dad, and we had to go and, is it a woman's refuge?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we had to go to a refuge, and obviously that always played a close part to my heart. So the year after I'd done the hospital, I thought I wanted to do something like that. So I got in contact with the council, a woman from the council that helped families in that. It was close to Christmas just before, and I said I had so much money that I raised and I wanted to give. I think there was 17 kids, yeah, and we made sure they all had but I didn't want to go and get presents because I wanted to also do it for the mums, because obviously they're not in the best position at the time of last year. Hopefully they are in a lot better position now. So I got gift cards for, so many toy shops so they could go.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't want to meet the mums because I didn't want them to feel guilty, and I didn't want no thank yous really, because it wasn't, I just raised the money from a kit. It was actually Jay Swindler, big up Jay, who won the bid.
Oh, was it? Okay,
yeah,
right, Jay got it.
So we done that, but the one mum wasn't taking no for an answer. So when I went up to give the council the cards, one of the mums out the family said they told me no, but I wanted to really say thank you. And so how upset she was, broke my heart, man.
I bet it did.
Broke my heart. But yeah, little things like that. There's not really too much I can really do, because like I say, little things like that, I ain't done anything big, but I've tried my best. Anyone asks me for a signed anything, even though I find that bizarre that someone's asking me for a signed thing, always do it, no problem.
Do you still find that a bit weird, do you?
Yeah, I've give gloves to raise money for nights and stuff that I box, fight t-shirts that I fought on the night. So yeah, I've done what I can.
And little things like that, you might be just chucking a signature on, but it makes someone's day, man. Do you know what I mean? And that's a wicked feeling, innit, to make someone's day.
Yeah,
do you know
100%.
what I mean? There's so many stresses in life, and that if they can get a little bit of pleasure from having something signed from you, and like the youth as well, do you know what I mean? Having like little kids and that, they're like, I've got this, it's signed from Liam, and it's just a great feeling. I think if you can put a smile on a youngun's face, or just someone that generally needs it, it's what it's all about, isn't it, mate? Yeah,
it's massive. You're great, like I say, no better feeling, and lucky to as I said before, be in this position.
To do that, yeah, for sure. What do you think that the next generation of boxers in your community, what do you think they need to succeed?
Patience, a lot of patience. Things don't happen overnight, do you know what I mean? Probably have a lot more bad days than good, but it's just about pushing through. As I said, just showing that commitment when I was not enjoying my boxing, but I'd still make weight and stuff like that, still turn up to tournaments, get beat, but I'd still turn up and showing a bit of effort, and things can work out.
100%, yeah. Are there any challenges that you think your community faces that you think sports could help address?
Yeah, definitely, because it gets to a point where for boxers, I'm guessing other sports too, but I've seen it in boxing many a times, where these boxers are really good and can go to the next level, and they haven't got the funds because you get bills you have to pay, and you put your family first. You have kids or whatever, you have a missus, you have to put them before yourself, so your priorities change from going to the gym wanting to be a champion. You still want it, but it's not your main priority. And I've been very fortunate to have my family support me, like, with funds, and I've been very fortunate to be able to give them back. Do you know what I mean? And after I done what I've said that I want, chasing my dream and achieving it. But these kids need support, and it's hard, isn't it? Because I've had great sponsors as well as them when turning over. I've had great sponsors, and people think that everyone's taking something for nothing.
Right.
But there is actually genuine people. Like, I was a genuine 20-year-old wanting to give up the bins to chase my dream. I generally wanted that, and I luckily had the people supporting me and made it happen. So I just think there needs to be more support in, like, making it worth it for these kids to take a gamble at chasing their actual dream, because there's no money there at the start, and there's not much talk about. You're in the shadow a bit. Only you and probably one or two other people believe you can actually do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Most other people think he's nuts, him.
Yeah. No, I get that. How do you think that your connection to your... when I say your community, I'm talking about Donington and kind of, well, Telford on a whole, I suppose, but how would you say that your connection to your community has shaped your outlook on life and on boxing as well?
Poor.
I'm digging deep with these questions, bro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's okay. It's a tough one though, that one, because I wouldn't say it's the place of Donington. It's the people in it and the memories I had of growing up with going to school with all these people, meeting all these friends, you know what I mean? So going to the bonfire every year, it's them memories, going to the parade, little things like that. So other than that, that's all I can say.
Yo, this is your boy Jumping Jack Frost, and you're locked into the Dribbz Talk podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Keep it locked right here, baby.
Now, moving on to your professional boxing career, it seems that you was brought to the attention of founder of Queensbury Promotion, Frank Warren, way back in... I mean, if I've got any of this wrong, bro, let me know, all right?
I don't know myself.
Okay, well, I've done my research here, so hopefully I've got it bang on. So you were brought to the attention of founder of Queensbury Promotion, Frank Warren, way back in November 2020, when you won the English bantamweight title, forcing Sean Cairns?
Yep.
Yeah, to retire on the stall after 6 rounds. But prior to winning that, you've been striving to make a name for yourself on the small hall circuit, picking up experience against redoubtable journeymen. How did it feel to win that bantamweight title and have the likes of Frank Warren believe and invest in you? Must have been a great feeling.
Yeah, great feeling. But true story is that fight I probably never took. It
Really?
was like 18 days notice. I had like a stone and something to lose. And I was thinking, geez, never done 10 rounds before. I was on Eddie and like Sky Sports on the undercard of Conor Benn. And
It's a big deal, isn't it?
yeah, I was thinking, I don't know if this is, human nature. You think the worst, don't you? And spoke to my dad, and my dad's like, simple as, you don't take this opportunity, you're thick as, you know what I mean? So, and obviously, I want to impress my dad. So I took the fight. We had like two and a half weeks of training, basically making weight. Went up there. I've been fighting on the small hall shows before. Get up there, they put us in the Hilton in London. It was in lockdown, and yeah, it was, had a games room, everything. It was absolutely crazy, and hit you like this is the big time. It's my first taste of it, really.
Of course, yeah.
And I don't even think I thought about the fight until the night, because I was just walking around in awe of, think, bloody hell, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? So that night, it was magical. It was, like I said, made me, really. And it was my dad that made the decision to say, you've got to take this fight. And he was correct.
Paid off, man, for sure. Now, before Frank Warren decided to sign you to Queensbury Promotion in 2021, did you have any other promotions that looked to sign you? Because I'm sure Eddie Hearn might have been interested.
No, so...
I heard that as on the grapevine.
Yeah, but what it was is, basically on them shows that I fought on Sky, they said winner stays on.
Okay.
And we was waiting for like three or 4 months went by, and I was saying to my manager I need a fight, and obviously Eddie Hearn was not that interested, but he did say I'd have to, but he's obviously going to wait it out. And then they got the offer from Frank, and the first show was in Telford in like 3 months. So obviously I was like, oh, straight away, yeah. And that was my first show in Telford under Frank Warren, and then rest is history.
Yeah, man, for sure. What did it mean for you to sign that initial 2-year deal with Queensbury Promotion?
Yeah, it was massive. I just had a taste of what it was like on Sky Sports, and actually I was a young lad with big dreams, so I was desperate for that, and I was made up, and cherry on the cake was the first show was in Telford. I'd have gone anywhere.
It couldn't have been better, could it really?
No. Written in the stars.
Definitely. Now, in November 2022, in your hometown of Telford, your biggest and most notable win to date when you become European champion with a convincing points defeat against Baluta for the vacant title. Now, from the initial ring walk for that title fight, one thing I remember from being in the crowd was the energy in that place. It lifted the roof off with the chances, one of our own, echoing throughout the building. Explain to me how the support from your home crowd can influence your performance in the ring.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because before the fight, when you're going in to fight, you got someone in there to come and take your head off. You never really, I'm never focused on the crowd, focused on anyone.
Right.
Not really hearing much, you know what I mean? I'm in my own head, talking to myself, revving myself up. And then I'd say, soon as the final bell goes, or whenever the fight ends, then you look around and then you're like, wow, you know what I mean? Absolute you couldn't explain the feeling.
I'll bet.
You know what I mean? But you go on, never sleep after a fight. Only since the big ones, I can never sleep. Always like on a buzz. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Don't want it to end.
Is there any ritual you do after the fights, like when you go back?
Nah, I'm quite chilled, mate.
Yeah.
I always try and get home to my dogs. You know what I mean? Let them know. Done the business.
Love that.
Yeah, normally, there's only place that's open, McDonald's, isn't it? My good friend comes round most of the time, Lewis. And my wife, Sam, will fall asleep, and then we'll just stay up talking crap, you know what I mean? How
do you actually come down from that? It's probably well hard to go. You can't just switch your eyes off as soon as you get home, do you know what I mean, and just go to sleep.
Nah, last couple of times, obviously not the last time, but a few times after, I found myself in the bath at like 4 or 5 in the morning having a coffee, thinking I don't even want to go to sleep, because you feel that buzzing.
Yeah.
And I remember when I won the world title, it was the craziest, because we come home, my friend Lewis come round, my wife went to sleep, we had a few Guinnesses, watched my fight back, and then he went, and I couldn't sleep, tried to go to bed, just lying there, couldn't sleep, went back downstairs. I remember just sitting on my sofa and just tapping myself on the back, laughing like, fair play, Lee.
Love that.
Like, craziest feeling ever. And that's like I say, nothing beats that. So that's why I want to chase. That beats anything. That feeling of being proud of yourself, and everyone's happy. That's why I think I love the boxing. Even since a young kid, you even when you don't win fights, you can see everyone's proud of you, and it means so much to them, and you learn how good a relationships you have with these people.
I must say, like on lead up to fight day, more so on the day of the fight, just just walking around Donington, it's like everyone's so hyped about it. Do you know what I mean? Even people that you wouldn't even expect to be into boxing, they, you know, they've got your name on the lips, and they're just like, "What do you think the predictions are?" Of course, it's going to be Liam. He's one of ours, isn't he? And it's just like, wow. Do you know what I mean? I just love it. I just love the vibe. Now, moving on with your career, in July of 2023, you added that WBO international title to your collection with a 4-belt battle against Jason Cunningham, the experienced Iceman. This was stopped in just the first round. Now, I'm interested to know from you, after all this hype with this Davies Cunningham fight, did you ever expect this fight to continue further than just the first round?
Yeah, of course.
I thought you might.
Yeah, of course. Train for 12 rounds, didn't you? But I had 2 fights the year before, and they were both points. So I was training. Every time I was sparring, training, I was thinking, I just want to, you know, get my name out there, some stoppage, and he's having some back and forth, but like, wasn't too much, you know what I mean? But it proper motivated me. I was training in Future Ventura, and I was running. Obviously, I wasn't in the best of shape, and he messaged me saying, like, "You're fat," you know. So it was one I was dead up for, and always it's a funny story actually. No one will know this, but many years ago, when my granddad was here, I remember he beat Jason Cunningham beat Yazza Nazza from Donington Boxing Club in the quarter of the semi-finals, or quarter of the ABAs, or the semi-finals of the ABAs. And I remember when my granddad come back, and he said they beat him 11-10, just beat him. And he was saying, "Oh, you know, I remember how mad like, not mad about it, but like, thought he was so unlucky, got done a bit." And I always remember the name Jason Cunningham. And then the night come, and it couldn't work out any better. It was absolutely crazy, because that was the only night one of the only nights I went to sleep after my fight. It was only 1 round, so my adrenaline probably went up so much.
Right, okay, yeah.
So I went to sleep that night. I remember waking up in the morning, having a wee, and a bit discombobulated, you know what I mean? It was dead early, thinking, I've got a fight today. And then quickly remembering, oh, you fought last night.
You've done the business.
Yeah.
No way,
because
that's
I didn't
mad.
feel, you know, the times before Balut, I had puffy hands, I was sore.
Yeah, yeah.
I ain't been in it. It was absolutely crazy.
I suppose that's a good sign, isn't it? There was a lot of talk with that fight, wasn't there? I can always remember that bit of footage of you bouncing the medicine ball. You know, that one you were goading him on and all that. It was, yeah, man. It was. I loved kind of the build up for that, and of course, you got the job done in first round. So come on. So when you go into these tough fights, Liam, do you walk in with the intention of getting the job done as quick as you can, or like with some fighters, they like to draw these fights out to give their paying customers their money's worth when it comes to purchasing their tickets?
Nah,
no,
not me. You gotta take them out, man. That's what I want to do. No, when it's quite weird when you go into a boxing ring. You have to have a bit of a chip on your shoulder, and you've got to bully them a little bit, you know what I mean? Try and get them out of there. And I was installed from young from my granddad, so that's just never left.
You certainly do a good job of that, bro.
Yeah, I try.
You certainly do. Now, fast forwarding from the Cunningham fight, you then completed a successful mandatory defence on your EBU belt in Manchester, and then on the 2nd of November 2024 came your defence of the IBO Super Bantamweight title against the undefeated Shabazz Massoud, who was signed to Matchroom Boxing. Now, this fight went the full distance, and you were defeated with a split decision at Resorts World Arena. With the likes of like Richie Woodall fighting all of his titles at Telford Ice Rink, you know, his Commonwealth title in 92, his European title in 95, and his world title in 1998. And then your dad Tristan Davis holding the Midlands area light welterweight title. Telford has a very rich boxing history, so how has growing up in Telford shaped your career and mentality as a fighter?
Growing up, like I say, it was just a dream. I never looked at Richie Woodall. It was always my dad. I don't really like Richie Woodall, to be honest. Yeah, I got no respect for Richie Woodall whatsoever. But I don't know him. He don't know me. So it was always a family thing, you know, boxing. It was always something. No one really motivated me other than the people that was around me.
Yeah.
Just because they was all doing it. It's what I wanted to do. It's
Yeah,
what
of
happens
course.
as a young kid, innit?
Yeah, definitely. Now, you've gained a lot of recognition over the years. How has your relationship with Telford's boxing community evolved since you turned professional?
The boxing community, nothing's changed because,
Same, yeah?
yeah, I still go down the boxing gym and do my bits and, like I say, go and watch the lads on the home shows. Everything's the same. We don't interact with any other gym really in Telford, and people come and watch my fight. So not in the boxing community, but in the just genuine community, I got a lot of respect for people, and glad that as well. I see people sometimes and they remind me that they was at the fight, and obviously I don't get to see who's there most of the time. You catch eye contact in the ring with one or two, but you're on a bit of a buzz and you're in the ring, and obviously everyone's in the crowd going mad, so you only see certain people. And a lot of people have come up to me and surprised me, like how many actually like come and watched. And yeah, when people remind me or let me know and they say they've had a good night, it's a nice feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I bet it is.
Making memories for people.
For sure. How do you balance the pressure of professional boxing with staying grounded in your hometown? Because I'm sure, like, with all the glitz and glam, it would be far too easy to think you were, like, you know, so much above the rest. But, like, you're a pretty down-to-earth, grounded person, in my opinion, Liam. Do you know what I mean? So how have you kind of kept that thin line between that?
Yeah, not everyone would agree saying that, but I think I'm alright. I can't worry about what other people say. Just gotta do me. As long as my wife loves me, she's happy, my family love me and proud of me, you know what I mean? I'm happy. But there's no really pressure. I'm quite a quiet guy. I go out, do my boxing and see my family. I don't really do much. I like a good meal, restaurant. You won't catch me in any clubs or nothing. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I like a good bit of food and then home to watch a film.
So me trying to get you to one of my events, you've got no chance.
Nah, I'm not a go out person.
Come on, I'll get you in the VIP, mate. True
Yeah.
story. Come on.
You know what it is? I'm not a dancer, me. I can't stand in these places. I'm only an head bopper.
Yeah.
One of them idiots I am.
Now, you've had an impressive career, to say the least, Liam. Now, what goals do you have for the future related to boxing?
My goals?
Because I noticed, like, I watched a previous interview of yours, I don't know where it was or when it was, but you spoke about, you know, perhaps, like, commentating in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to commentate, for sure. Commentating, but it's not promised. My next I'm going to box for as long as I can because I love the sport. But always said, like I say, if I start getting hurt and knocked out, you know, maybe I would have to think about retiring, but I don't give any date on it or any age. But when I am done, I'm going to be involved in Donington Boxing Club and help the kids for sure. It's family tradition, and boxing is my big part of my life, and I think I'll be a decent coach.
Love that. What would be your advice then to young boxers from Telford who are looking to follow in your footsteps, Liam?
Get to Donington Boxing Club.
Hey, that's it, isn't it? That's pretty
Simple.
much it. Get your ass to Donington Boxing
Get down
Club.
there.
When you think of some of the athletes in general that Telford has born, including the likes of, you know, Mickey Bushell, the Paralympic gold medalist, Danny Guthrie, professional footballer, that's just to name a couple. What do you think makes Telford special when it comes to producing boxers or athletes in general?
It's, as you said before, it's most parts are council buildings and council estates. Especially years ago, the names you mentioned, I know Danny Guthrie grew up in Donington, the Commons. So see people do it is amazing, isn't it?
I think it's extra special because, like, I mean, Telford's it's a small place on the grand scheme when you look at Birmingham, you know, and further in London and that. So, like, you know, when you hear of an athlete come from London, it's like, oh yeah. When they come from Telford, it's just a bit more personal, innit? It's like, oh, okay, there's very few that come from Telford, so it's wicked when someone does. Do you know what I mean? It's something special.
Yeah, and not many do, and hopefully we can make it more with the future generation, because like I say, these people you just named have proof that it can happen as long as you work hard and put your mind to it.
100%. And you've got some quite good prospects in the gym at the moment, haven't you?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah. We're going to mention your brother in a minute, but, can you just name drop a couple of quite good prospects at the moment?
Yeah, you got Theo, Wes Liskazovic. Obviously, you got my brother, Brad. You got my little sister, Araya.
She's had her first fight, hasn't she?
You got some travelling lads, the Prices, they're very good. Yeah, there's loads. There's a good load. There's loads of kids in the gym coming through, and all got potential. It's just about sticking to it and making sure, like say, they stick to it through the bad times and as they grow older, because it's hard when you start getting to that age where you got to work, and staying motivated to go to the gym is very hard.
I suppose that's the real tester, innit? This is what I always think, like, people see you on, I say on stage, people see you at your fights and, the ring walks and all that, but they don't see the dark nights training, do you know what I mean? And things like that, everything that you've worked, they only ever see that finishing product, and that finishing product is when you've announced your fight and you've stepped in the ring. Do you know what I mean? They don't see the build up. Yeah,
because that's how life goes though, innit? You're never going to show that to people, because what's the word? You ain't going to burden that on people. And only your close people see that. And my wife puts up with the good days and the bad days, boxing, training hard, like I wouldn't say the pressure, but just you have your days like any job. You just like, it gets too much, you know what I mean? And people think it's all sunshine and rainbows, but I know myself, people say it's great to be on the stage, the money's good, look at that, and they don't understand that they'd be halfway through going into it, feeling the pressure through the training, the dieting, and they'd stick the fingers up to the event, the money, and say, F that, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
Don't get it twisted. I get like that a lot. I'm emotional motherfucker sometimes. I am. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and
ain't nothing wrong with that, Liam.
Nah, sometimes times are hard, you know what I mean? People think that it's all sunshine and rainbows, but unfortunately it's not.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Telford doesn't always really get as much attention as some of the bigger cities. Do you feel a sense of responsibility to rep your town on the national and international stage?
Yeah, it's always good. I'm not so bothered about representing the town, because the town's done that itself, and they've done big things in the last couple of years. Changes up town centre, Southward, and that are massive. But it's more, I want to bring shows to Telford. That's more of what I'm trying to do, and I hope after this one we can bring one to Telford in the summer.
Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, very good.
For sure. It would be wrong of me to explore your roots now without mentioning your brother Bradley Thompson, who to me is another local prospect that's flying the flag for Telford in the sport of boxing. How has Bradley influenced your career both in and out of the ring?
Brad's a little G.
Hey.
He is. He's I've always said he's the best one out of me and him.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%. Won more as an amateur, plenty more skills, and he's just waiting for an opportunity for him to come, which he's got to keep chipping away, which he is, and the opportunity is going to come, and I'm sure he'll grab it with both hands.
Definitely. Can you share a memorable moment from your early years together, especially when you were both involved in boxing? Is there anything that you can particularly think of?
Yeah.
Come on.
We got loads of stories. I tell you a good one. So we got my mum to buy us some gloves, pair of gloves each, for Christmas. And that whole year, he'd come home from school, I'd come home, and he'd have me and him, pair of gloves on each, sparring on the bed. And I'm saying we'd do it for hours.
Just battering shit out of each other with gloves on.
Proper, practicing a little bit, you know what I mean, at the same time. used to send my mum nuts. We'd ruin her bed, do you know what I mean? The quilt would be everywhere, because we'd put the pillows by the floor in case one of us fell off. More time Brad, because he's only little, you know what I mean? We'd put the pillars, so my mum would come, and we wouldn't bother making it after. Mum would come in, there'd be boxing gloves on the bed and a quilt and pillows all over the gaff.
What do you think makes Bradley such a unique fighter in this boxing world?
His style, yeah, very good. It's like a little Lomachenko.
Yeah?
Yeah, if you watch him close, very, very good, and I'm looking forward for him to be able to prove it on the big stage soon.
That's what he needs, isn't it? That's what he needs. Is there any friendly competition between you and Bradley, or do you both have a strong sense of teamwork?
Yeah, no competition at all.
No.
I just said he's better than me. There's no competition.
Ain't no nah. If you're admitting that, Liam, then there ain't no competition whatsoever.
Competition's dead.
He's probably got a big head when he listens back to this as well. He's like, yeah, you're damn right, I'm better than you. Does Bradley have any plans to take boxing all the way to the top like you have, or is he focused on other aspects of the sport?
No, of course he's got plans to do the boxing. That's the dream, and he'll do it. 100%.
You sound really confident in that, mate, and that's great to hear.
Yeah, I believe in him.
Yeah, that's great. Now, I mentioned about 2 important people that you've lost in your life, one being your granddad that we've spoke about, but the other one being your Uncle Joff. So tell me a bit about your relationship with Joff and how he supported you during the start of your journey.
Yeah, so my relationship with Joff don't really come with the boxing, to be honest. When I was a young kid, he's my mum's younger brother, Joff was, and he'd be like 19, I'd be like good, I don't know how, but like 10, 11, something like that. He's 20 odd, and actually he used to play football on the weekends, so I'd go with him and watch him play football, and we'd go to the pub after. He'd make all his mates play me at pool because he'd had enough after a few games. Have chip butties, you know, they used to bring the food in, didn't they, to the pub.
Yeah.
I'd be with him like most from the morning till most of the afternoon, till he'd go out, and then he'd come drop me off and then go out. So great memories from young with Joff, with the football. He's always a wind up, like always a big wind up, like white bogies on you and that growing up. It's just disgusting. But and then obviously I grew older, and Joff was a good footballer. We had a good relationship still. It's like a bigger brother, really. Yeah. As well as my uncle. I
did hear that he was a very good footballer in his day.
Yeah, he was a very good footballer. There's pictures of him played at Wembley and stuff.
Come on.
And obviously when he got older, which is hard, he started working, the football started dying down, started drinking, so you don't play as much, your level goes down. And when I got a bit older, and I must have been in my 20s, he said once or twice to me, like, you should chase the boxing, because even at my professional early days, I was still umming, like, it costs you more than what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? I was in debt, like, because I've asked everyone to support me, you know, lent money, I'll give it you back when I'm gonna. And obviously I was depressed sometimes, like, I just think I need to go and work on a construction site. You know, I'd be like 700 a week, and I'll be able to pay everyone back in a few years. And he always was one of the few people to remind me that was close enough to be able to talk to me like that. Do you know what I mean? To remind me that, like, he's been and made the mistakes before with the football, and he's seen plenty of friends do it with other sports. And like James Boyd was a good friend, could have been a good boxer, and he used to proper drill that into me, like, you can do it. Do you know what I mean? He used to. One thing he did do, he'd always come watch me, and we went to Scotland once. I boxed first time boxing for England, and he come watch me. Yeah, got my uncle Paddy, God rest his soul. Got him absolute hammered, and I always remember they had pictures of him drunk asleep in the hotel. So, and then fast forward time, like I said, back to when I was umming and ahhing about the boxing, he'd remind me, like, you got to stick to it. And then I was waking up for the bins one morning, on a Monday morning. It was a Monday morning, yeah. And had my brother ring me. I always remember, you know, had all my work gear on top of the toilet. Had the shower on, just about to jump in it before I went to work. It's like 5:30 in the morning, and my brother rings me. I answer it, and he says, like, you need to get here now, because he just lived with his girlfriend and their lad at my mum's at the time, so he was waiting for a new house. So do you know when you have like a 3-month period between?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they just moved into my mum's, and my brother rang me saying, you need to get here, Josh died. And I'm like, it's always dead mad, because I'm like, I remember saying, what do you mean? Like, do you know, like, what do you mean?
Mm.
And he said, well, I'm not fucking lying, am I? Like, and walked in, woke Sam up and said what Brad said, so we rushed down there. And yeah, like in his 30s, and yeah, passed away in his sleep.
It's no age, bro. No age at all. Losing him must have been massively difficult for you. How did his passing affect you personally and professionally as well?
Yeah, so it's hard for me because I think I'd say it hurt the most because I was so older, and we had, like, the week before we had like these deep conversations, you know, about, and just, it's hard, innit, man? Like, it's hard.
No, it definitely is, bro. It definitely is. And I suppose, like, in hindsight, it's like if you knew that his time was coming to an end, there's so much more different you would say to them in there. But that's always the way with sudden deaths, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I had no emotion at the time. Now look, mad, innit? Like,
it really is.
But I think I was in shock. But yeah, I had to do it, like, it happened.
Yeah.
Still, sometimes now, don't believe. Like, look at his number on my phone. I still got his number saved, and my auntie and stuff have messages off him, and we look sometimes. Got a video of him. He loved the song "Hey, I Heard You Like the Wild."
Oh yeah.
And sometimes I talk about it. It's come on a few times. Like,
really?
Absolutely mad. Yeah, we got a video of him dancing to the tune, and yes, it always reminds me of him when that tune comes on. Yeah.
Memories. Do you find that boxing has been a way for you to honour his memory and the impact that he had on your life? Obviously, I know you've got the shorts that say Joff on them.
Yeah.
Is that something that you'll continue to do with each fight?
Yeah. So I'll take you back actually to a story about my uncle and what the character he was. Always makes me laugh. When I went to London for my English title fight, the first one on Sky Sports, obviously they have bets. I'm in the hotel, and it was like an hour. I'm just leaving for the venue, so like an hour or two before the fight. Don't really talk to someone. You only like, you're not really looking at your phone. And I see my uncle's ringing me, and anyone else probably wouldn't have answered. And I answered the phone and say, "You okay?" And I could tell he's had a few drinks, and he's asked me what round you're going to knock him out in. And I said, I reckon 4 or 6. So he said, okay, he's very drunk. Obviously, I've gone in. I knocked the guy out in round 6. And on the way back, I'm buzzing in the car with my dad. We drove straight home. And he rings me. It's like 1 a.m, so he's even more drunk now. and I answer. And, like, obviously he's buzzing, saying congratulations, proud of me and stuff. And I say, I want some money off you now, uncle, because I told you round 4, round 6. He said, you ain't going to believe this. I said, why? He said he wanted 50 quid in bet. So he told some guy, put 50 quid in bet. He put 40 quid on round 4 and £10 on round 6. So he didn't win that much.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So, the Lending money just didn't come into it then, did it?
No, not lending money. Getting someone. I wanted half his winnings, but he only won
yeah.
about £30.
Right, I see.
So I wasn't that impressed.
Now, if you could share one thing with your supporters or fellow boxers about dealing with loss while continuing to pursue your dreams, what would that be?
I think loss is tough, isn't it? And I can't explain for every human being, but for me, I believe it's the best way. But you can only do it when you're ready. It ain't gonna happen straight away. But after Jaff, I had days of, when you're at the funeral, and just them days in between where you find yourself daydreaming, thinking of times with him. And used to remember him saying to me about the boxing and how much should do it, and I mean that was when I really thought to myself, you know what, I'm gonna put. That's where the idea come. I had a conversation in my own head. I'm gonna put him on my shorts, and I'm gonna do it. And I just signed. Obviously, the good news come with Frank Warren as well. So it wasn't until the good news of Frank Warren come that I started thinking how much he would want me to real chase the dream, you know. And that was the one thing that probably turned me to the person I am. You know.
Yeah.
And as sad as it was, it turned my life around. You know what I mean? Made me and brought joy back to my family. My mom, my auntie Carrie Ann, his younger sister, brought joy back, and I know he'll be up there buzzing. So I know that for a fact.
100%. Now, Liam, boxing is a mentally demanding sport. How do you maintain a strong mental state during tough training sessions or after a loss? Because I'm sure it's very easy to fall into that pit of depression. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, some days, just like a normal human, you have clouds over your head, don't you? You can have everything in the world, and sometimes you can think you're miserable, everything's against you. It's just your mindset. Don't get me wrong, I have them days, but nowadays I've learnt a lot. Learnt to be grateful for the things that I have got in my life. Do you know what I mean? And losing a fight, having a hard training camp, to what other people have going on in their lives. Like,
minor, innit?
Who am I to moan? Do you know what I mean? So I just have to take it on the chin. Struggle sometimes, think to myself, you come from the struggle, like, get on with it, you know what I mean? Like, things ain't you just got to keep going. You have your good days, have your bad, and with boxing, it can bring you up here, your highest high. It has me, and it can bring the lowest low. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's boxing to me brings me life lessons. You know, how to look on life, and I think losing I learnt the most, because I wasn't losing when I was not learning when I was winning. That's one thing. This time when I win, I'm still going to look back and learn. Can't just look back on these mistakes and think, oh, because I got away with it, I'm okay. Let's keep doing what I'm doing. I've got to keep tweaking things and, like I say, do things that I want, because it's on my shoulders and I'm the one that's got to accept the loss, you know what I mean? So I've learned a lot, and it's just typical that it took a loss to
to do that.
To thingy where when you win, like, obviously I went 2 years nearly with 100% knockouts, so I'm going in the ring thinking, I've mastered, you know what I mean? I've mastered this. I just got to turn up. I'm going to knock them out. That's not how it goes. So that's probably the biggest lesson I learned. So even when I win, still look back and think you can always do better. Even though I'm never cocky, obviously I had mad confidence in my ability. Do you know what I mean? I would never air it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with believing.
And I still got that
Yeah.
confidence now, but I'm just not the confidence to think I ain't got to learn anymore or stuff like that.
I always say this, Liam, I don't know if you agree, but there's like there's a thin line between like self-belief and being cocky. Do you know what I mean? There is a thin line between that, and like I always, you know, I've said this before on a previous podcast, and my listeners have heard this before, but like, if you don't believe in yourself, then how can you expect anyone else to believe in you? Do you know what I mean? Like, if you carry yourself a bit low and you're just like, well, I might win, I might not. Yeah, people are going to go, well, I'm not really rooting for him because he hasn't really got that self-belief. But I think you've got to have self-belief, bro. You wouldn't be doing this in the first place if you didn't believe that you were capable of doing these things.
No, definitely believe in myself. Always have. Don't think that will ever change.
Nothing wrong with that, bro. Do you have any mental health strategies or routines that help you stay focused and calm before a big fight?
Not really.
No?
No, I'm not a religious person. Quite spiritual. Think what's meant to be will be, and what's written for you is always gonna be there, innit? So just make the right decisions and be you. That's it, really. I ain't got any tactics on brain training, anything. Just try and be happy, enjoy each moment, and things ain't gonna last forever, are they? So that's where you got to enjoy.
Just got to ride it while you can, ain't you? Now, how do you deal with the pressure of public expectations and the spotlight that comes with being a professional boxer, Liam?
Don't really know how I deal with it. Just get on with it, I suppose. Do you know what I mean? It's not much has changed, to be honest, because I'm not really out there. I wouldn't say I'm well known as, do you know what I mean? Most people, I'm only well known through Telford area, I would say. And
I think you're playing yourself down there, personally.
Nah,
you are, bro.
Genuinely.
Nah, you are, bro.
I'm
You're
not.
playing yourself down there. I'm not going to sit here and agree with you that you're not really well known. So
nah, genuinely. No, obviously in the boxing world, but you know what I mean. It's like I don't get much jip on social media, or you know, to see some other massive boxers or as much recognition as them. But that comes with good and bad, so I don't want it, you know what I mean? I just want to do what I'm doing, and as soon as boxing, I'm off.
Yeah, done the job, gone. In such a physically demanding sport, how do you balance physical recovery with mental recovery?
As in mentally, switch off, me.
Do you?
Yeah, I like to switch off, take your mind away from boxing, and
I know one of your things is going to the caravan, innit? A couple of days
after
like
the
fight.
Caravan. Yeah.
I always wait for that one. It's like, you know, if it's a win, it's like the picture at your granddad's grave.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, the status is, I'm off down the caravan. And I think that's nice, man, because that's just staying humble. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to some villa or somewhere else. You like, I know you've done them holidays, obviously, but you go to the caravan, bro, and that's like
can't beat the caravan. My wife says caravan beats any summer holiday.
Love that.
We've actually been down there last weekend, opened it all up. No, we won't be back till after the fight.
So is this a caravan that's yours or someone you own? Or?
Yeah, nah. My wife's and my mother-in-law's, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so
you got it whenever you want it then, innit?
So yeah, it's mine as well now. I've barged my way in. Nah. It's just so Sam's, we call her G-Ma, grandma, is they've always there. So Sam's grew up on that caravan site that we're at, and they've got a caravan and then got a plot on there as well. So it's all like two caravans, and just the whole family go whenever, man. Basically.
Yeah, I like that. Liam, do you think there's enough conversation around mental health in the boxing community, or is it something that needs more attention?
Yeah, it needs more attention, but I feel like it's hard for people to speak up, innit? That need the help. I think that's something just need to find a better way of people feeling comfortable with being able to speak it, because you can be down, people can see you as making an excuse sometimes, and you know, just being stupid kind of thing.
Do you think, like in the sport of boxing, that like by speaking up and talking about your emotions, and like you said, wearing your heart on your sleeve, like, do you think that's almost like seen by other boxers as showing a form of weakness? Or is it that was that the old school attitude of boxing, and now it's a bit more inclusive with talking about your feelings and that?
Yeah, I'd say it's a lot more now. Didn't really. Mike Tyson really brought it out, didn't he? He just said it how it is, and then I think it's split there. I think people do fake it, don't they? And they are a bit different, like a show, and then people meet the real them if they're like friends with them and stuff. But I'll just roll with me. I'll just take me as I am, like me or not.
Yeah, man, that's what we all love you for, mate. Now, what advice would you give young boxers dealing with mental pressure of the sport or struggling with their own mental health?
I'll just say that the hard days are going to be there. Is you know that. I do myself. Still have hard days. It's just about getting through them and keep pushing for the better. You know what I mean? And appreciating the good days when you do.
Yeah, man. That's sterling advice, mate. And finally then, bro, what do you hope that my listeners take away from this podcast? For me, I would hope that they get a better understanding of yourself rather than just, like I said, just seeing the finishing product, you know, the man with the gloves. I wanted to get to know you behind the gloves. That was my main focus with this podcast. You know, I'm sure you've done a lot of interviews and they're all boxing. And it's nice to actually talk about all the things that have led you up to the final product, as in you being a professional boxer now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I hope people have listened and enjoyed a bit of a look into what's been going on, do you know what I mean, over the years in my life. Hope I ain't gone on too much.
No, not at all, mate.
I hope, like I say, people are tuned in, and I appreciate you for having me.
It's all right, man. It's my pleasure, if anything, but thank you for your time. And now we're going to get into the final part of the podcast now. This is my favourite part of the podcast. I don't prepare you for these, Liam, because these are quick fire questions. Mate, there's no right or wrong answer. You can choose to pass. But I'm pretty sure you won't. You'll give it a good go with these questions,
I'll
man.
Smash these.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah, go on.
Right, let's do this. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Invisible.
That is my most common answer across these podcasts. That is. What's the weirdest smell that you've ever smelt, Liam?
Weirdest smell I've ever smelled.
I've had cheese. People have said cheese. Certain bushes that they walk past when they're walking their dogs. Their own farts.
What's the worst?
The weirdest, as in worse. Yeah.
Picking up my dog's shit.
Oh yeah. Standard.
Yeah, bad. Ate that.
Mate, you've only got tiny dogs. I bet the shit's only that big, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes the texture when you have to pick it up in the bag.
When it's still warm as well.
Yeah,
that's living life, that is, bro.
I try avoid picking it up, mate. Feed the birds, man. Feed the birds.
Kick into the bush. If you could have one song that would play each time you entered a room for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Hey, I heard you love the world.
Yeah, it's got to be, hasn't it? In memory of Big Man, for sure. If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be, Liam?
Big Mac meal.
Do you know what? You didn't take time to think about that one,
No,
mate.
do you know why?
Why?
Because I grew up round the corner of McDonald's in Donnan. Unbelievable.
It was just a regular smell then, yeah?
Yeah, I just love McDonald's. Someone said, what's if you could only eat one restaurant, or like you just said,
Mackey's.
So, yeah, always be Mackey's.
Come on, mate. Burger King, man. They're the don of burgers.
Not really a Burger King is. The only good thing they do that Mackey's don't is onion rings.
Okay, yeah. You like the onion rings, do you? Fair dues. If you could master one language, Liam, what would it be?
Spanish.
Yeah, okay. I like that. If you could snoop through one person's private life, who would it be, bro?
Oh, it'd have to
anyone.
It'd have to be someone dead interesting. If I could snoop through anyone's life. What, to see like what they get up to on a daily basis?
Anything, yeah. Anything and everything.
Oh. It'd have to be it'd have to be like a smackhead or something. I'd love to see what they get up to on the day. Love to just see what, like, be Like, watch what they get up to on a day.
I can't say I've ever had that answer before,
Dead
bro.
interesting people.
I thought you were going to say, like, you know, the main man, Mr. Warren or something, so you could see his next
Nah.
moves, or Eddie Earns, you could see his next moves and be one step ahead, you know what I mean? But
Nah,
we'll go with a smacker, bro.
dead interesting.
What would the title of your autobiography be, if you was to write one?
The Don of Donaton.
The Dawn of... Do you know what, bro? I put, as you've seen, like, with these podcasts, I do a lot of promo, and I did that cheeky little video today, and, yeah, man, someone replied on there, The Dawn of Donington. I was like, go on!
Yeah.
Love that. What's the weirdest gift you've ever received?
Weirdest gift.
It can be weird or random.
Oh, sorry, Nan. But basically, one time, my Nan Deb, I think I was like 16, 17. She brought me some Sketcher white, like, those like club shoes. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
I can't explain. Do you ever see Skechers?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know Skechers.
Yeah, of course I know Skechers.
White
yeah.
Skechers.
Okay.
17. I was thanks and that buzzing.
You weren't rocking them though, were you?
My auntie, my auntie goes, he ain't gonna wear them. She's like, you do? And I'm like, yeah. And that, look, they made me be honest. So but I had a motorbike at the time, so I said I wore them out on that. It was pure white as well.
But they weren't by the time you finished with them. If you were given a chance to explore the ocean or space, which would you choose?
Oh, the ocean.
Yeah, man. What's an unusual skill or talent that you have, Liam?
I can do a card trick.
Yeah?
Unbelievable card trick. You can guess what card you picked out.
You can do that, can you?
Yeah.
Fair play. I can't say I've got a deck of cards with me that I can get that one proven.
Next time, though.
I'll take your word on that one,
next
bro.
time, when I see you at the club,
I'm going to have to pop into Legion just to see this card trick, do you know what I mean?
Bear pack.
Have you ever had, and this obviously, you know, it depends what you believe in, bro, but have you ever had a paranormal or an unexplained moment that you just can't really explain how that happened? I know you mentioned about Joff when you spoke about him, that song had come on sometimes. That's a bit unexplained, you know what I mean? But is there anything directly?
This is weird, yeah. I've asked people this, so I don't know if they can reply to your podcast, but like weird things that I've had before. Have you ever, like, I've had a dream before, yeah, that like, I've not been to see my granddad in ages. Like, I'm gonna go and see him when I wake up, but I'm dreaming, and I've woke up. I'm like, what was I thinking? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, I think I have. Well, mine's more the case of,
or I'm gonna go see him, or and it's mad.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say.
So it's almost like normalized, like, do you know what I mean?
Like in my dream, yeah, they're like thinking, I'm thinking, they're not gone. I've just not gone to cinema in ages.
Yeah.
Why ain't I gone to cinema? I'm gonna go see them when I wake up.
Yeah, and then there's that
wake up
shitty
and you're
realization.
Like, like, where did I get that from?
I had I'm getting it too often recently. Like, typical example. I know you know him, Stuart McGlynn.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stu's sister, his younger sister, Kirsty.
Yeah, Kirsty.
I went to junior school with Kirsty. I haven't seen her in years.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but I think me and my brother was. I said, oh, you know, Stu. He was like, yeah. They lived in Jubilee Avenue. I went, yeah, back in the day. And I went, yeah, you had a sister called Kirsty. He went, oh yeah. I said, I haven't seen her in years, man. I don't know what she's doing with herself, but I literally haven't seen her in years. Next day, bro, Kirsty McGlynn walks past me.
Mad, yeah.
How weird's that? Do you know what I mean?
Mad.
And like, I only mentioned her yesterday that I hadn't seen her in ages, and then she walked past me, and she went, you're right, and I was like, you're right. And I was like, fuck, that's mad.
Mental.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I literally haven't seen her since like junior school, and I'm like 37.
Deja vu is another mad one, isn't it?
Yeah. And the weirdest part of that is, have you ever had that where like, you know you're in it and you're waiting for it to kind of end? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh yeah, that car's going to go past now. That car goes past, and it's like...
nah, see, I don't see that, me.
How do you see it?
Like, it happens, I'm like, sure I've seen all this happen before, like...
In the same routine?
Yeah, just something happens, I'm like, I've defo seen that happen before, in like the same position I was stood in.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Man.
Have you ever had a celebrity crush, and who is it?
Nah, my crush is my wife.
Hey, look at him. That's the right answer, isn't it? Tick that box with Sam,
Right,
man. You ain't going to get a clip around the ear roll now, are you?
Nah, it's right. Swear down.
Nah, man, that's good. And I'm guessing this will probably be related to Sam as well. But finally, bro, the last question on this podcast is, how do you define happiness and have you found it?
Yeah, I found happiness. Oh, yeah.
In more than one way, would you say?
Yeah. It's happiness in all my relationships, you know what I mean? But the base, obviously, is at home, you know what I mean? That's my rock, my wife.
Yeah,
and
man.
She's with me every day, good days, bad days, next to my side, so
Yeah, I love
super
that.
grateful. And obviously she's super beautiful, so it's like bosh.
Bonus, eh?
Yeah, that's it.
I always say this, Liam, like, you know, I feel like, you know, our ladies need to get more credit, do you know what I mean? And like, this is from my aspect as well, like being a music artist, like 20 years, like next year I hit 20 years in the scene, music, like, and that's traveling up and down raves all over the UK and further. And my wife, like, stays at home with the kids and mans the ship while I'm gone, do you know what I mean? And like, I can be doing sets like on a Friday night and then a Saturday night, and then I'll come home on a Sunday, and I'm no use to anyone because I've been gigging all weekend. And like that girl, like Sam is with you, that girl has never, she got with me we've been together 20 years now, so she got with me when I first got into this music, and that girl has never questioned any of my bookings, my radio shows, you know, she knows everything that goes with it. You get like, you get the groupies, and you get the, just because you're stood on stage with a mic, they're like, and yeah, like she could easily get so jealous if she wanted to, but she's never questioned it. She's just like, that's his dream, and you know, I'm gonna make him try to be the best possible version of himself. So I always say this, Liam, like, behind every good man is an even greater woman, bro. Do you know what I mean?
I got great women. I got my mum as well, my sisters, you know what I mean, my stepmom Lisa, my mother-in-law Stacey.
The team is strong.
Yeah,
boy. Well, that wraps up our podcast. How have you found it?
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
very good. Different. I
I just wanted to go a little bit deeper. You know, I said to you, like, most of the interviews that I've kind of researched on you, and I watched them anyway, but yeah, they're all boxing orientated, and of course we needed to mention that, but it's also nice to hear other stuff about you that not many people would know, do you know what I mean, apart from your personal lot.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
It's all right, man. Thank you for your time. So this has been the Dribbz Talks podcast with Liam Davies. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff, man. We're all trying to fight these algorithms, so just by clicking like on a video, you don't realise how far it takes these videos. So keep going with me on this journey. It's been amazing. I'm looking forward to so many more guests. Big up yourself and have a blessed week. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dribbz Talks podcast. We're bringing it to you real, raw and uncut. A safe place where we can talk about anything and everything. So like, share and subscribe. But most importantly, keep it locked. Everything's gonna be just fine, everything's gonna be okay. Just take one step at a time, that's what the leaflets say.